In this quick Power BI tutorial for beginners, you'll learn the essentials of Power BI and by the end, be able to create visualizations like this one. Here's what we'll cover. You'll learn what exactly is Power BI, how to install it, how to import data, how to create fancy charts, even if you have absolutely no clue about how to use Power BI. Let's get into it. In a very basic sense, in a nutshell, the whole idea behind Power BI is you take your data, often from an Excel spreadsheet, import it, and then build a whole bunch of visualizations, commonly referred to as charts. These charts are interactive and let you look at your data in various ways. You can also build data models, which is a fancy way of saying you're going to connect some tables together and also build a wide variety of calculations. To get started, you first need to install Power BI, which is free. You can download it directly from the web or through the Microsoft Store. I'll put the links below, but I recommend using the Microsoft Store because it's easy and reliable. You can get to the Microsoft Store from the Start menu on your PC. Once it's opened, in the search bar, type Power BI. The one you want to install is the Power BI desktop. Just click on it, then click the blue button to install the app. Once the install is complete, just open the app as you normally would, and you'll be brought to this screen. Okay, the way Power BI works is you have to first connect and import your data. Once your data has been imported, you can then start to build your report. Starting from the top, you can begin with a blank report or connect to various data sources like Excel and SQL. Furthermore, you can connect to other data sources like Oracle, SAP, Amazon, and a ton of others. For today, we'll be using an Excel file that you can download if you want to follow along. I'll put a link down below as well. Let's go ahead and click on Blank Report, which will take you to the main report view. Next, let's import our Excel file, and you can either click on the Excel icon in the middle of your screen or use the icon up here on the ribbon. Let's choose our Excel file and open it. Once you open your data, this navigator window will open. Over here on the left, you can see the sheets from our file. One contains order data, and our other sheet has our customer data. If we click on either sheet, you can see the data over here on the right side. Now, for our report, we'll want to use both sheets so we can check both boxes to select them. Then, down at the bottom, we have these two buttons, Load and Transform Data. If we click Transform Data, that'll open the Power Query editor. The reason for using Power Query is because you want to clean your data. So, for example, if your data has duplicate rows, say some columns that need to be split or merged, or you have a bunch of blanks, you can use Power Query to filter out the junk and make your data Power BI friendly. The good news is our data has already been cleaned and tidied up, so it's ready to be used directly in Power BI. So we'll go ahead and click on Load. Once our data has been imported, over here on the left, if we click this Table View icon, we can see our data from Excel. Over here on the far right, you can see both sheets from Excel. If you click the chevrons to expand things out, that'll show you all the fields from your list. Okay, for this next part, please don't overthink this or get intimidated, because I'll clarify things as we move forward. Over here on the left, if we click this Model View icon, what's really cool is our data has a common or shared field between both sheets, and that field's the customer ID. And because our sheets have a shared field, Power BI recognizes it and has created a relationship between the two tables, technically known as one-to-many. All right, to make things easier, the logic backing this up is one customer can have many orders, which makes sense. Again, if this sounds overwhelming, all you need to know is Power BI was nice enough to connect our Excel sheets together automatically. And since they're connected, we can now build charts and pull data from across both sheets. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the good stuff and go over here and click the Report View icon to start building some graphs. For our first chart, we'll build a column graph. If you look over here on the right, you have two areas to work with. The first is this visualization area, and this is where you choose how you want your data to be shown. Next to the visualization area, you have this data pane. In this area, you can see the sheets that were imported from Excel, along with the column headers or field names from each of the sheets. Okay, to build a chart, the first step is to click on the chart you want, and that'll put a placeholder over here on the canvas. The next step is to add the fields we want to use. In this case, let's say we want to see the sales for our subcategories. So let's expand out our fields in the data area, then click and drag the subcategory field into the x-axis, then drag the sales field over to the y-axis. And there you go, just like that, instant chart. Now at this point, we can leave the chart as is or change things around a bit. For example, maybe we don't like this display and want the chart to be displayed by item instead of by the sales highest to lowest. To change it, what you want to do is hover over the graph, click the three dots, then choose Sort By. Then switch your fields, in this case, sales to subcategory. At that point, you can go back to the three dots, choose Sort By, then change it from descending to ascending if you think that looks better. All right, first visualization's in the books. Let's move on to the next. All right, for our next visualization, let's create a line graph so we can see our sales over time. Let's start by clicking somewhere on the canvas. Then over here on the right-hand side, click the line chart icon to add it to our design area. And how about we move the chart up here so it's easy to see. Next, let's add our data by first dragging in our order date field to the x-axis, then the sales field to the y-axis. Okay, it looks like our data is being displayed by year, but we can change that by clicking on this funky double arrow icon. So if we click that once, it'll show us the year and quarter. If we click it again, we can see the month, quarter, and year data. Okay, that chart looks pretty good for now, so let's stay with that and keep moving. Next, how about we create a card visual? A card visual just shows you a single number. It's often big and bold that summarizes something at a glance, say total sales or total profit. For our example today, we'll create two cards using the profit field. One card will show the total profit, the other one will show the average profit. Start by clicking somewhere in the canvas, then over here on the right in this visualization area, look for the icon with the lightning bolt and little 1, 2, 3 on it. Go ahead and click the card icon to add it. Now we can drag the profit field to the values area, or alternatively, we can drag the field directly onto the card itself. It's your call. Let's resize that a little bit. Now, we could leave the card looking like this, but honestly, it's not very practical because what does this number really represent? So how about we change it? To change the format, we do have to dig a little bit. Over in the visualization area, click the Format Your Report icon. It's the one that looks like a graph with a paintbrush on it. Then click General and look for Data Format. Expand out the data format, and under Format Options, choose Currency. All right, much better. Okay, now let's add another card so you can learn how to change the calculations. Start by clicking somewhere on the canvas, then add another card, bring down the profit field. Okay, to change the calculation, you want to click where it says Sum of Profit and choose Average. Once that's complete, how about we change the format once again to Currency, and we already know how to do that, so let's go up here and click the formatting icon, then General, Data Format, and go with Currency. All right, I'm going to take a moment or so to rearrange this report a bit by dragging these charts down to the bottom, then move our cards over here. Why? Why not? Moving on, let's take a look at the often maligned donut graph. And for this one, we're going to pull data from the customer sheet and order sheet so we can see the table relationships we talked about earlier in action. Let's start off by clicking somewhere on the canvas, then over here in the visualization area, click the donut graph icon. For the values, let's drag the sales amount into this area. Then from the customers table, let's drag the device they ordered from into the details area. And there you go. Easy peasy. Moving right along, let's add a data table. Again, make sure to click on a blank spot on the canvas. Then over here on the right, click the table visualization. Now we just have to drag over our fields. Let's take our customer source and drag it to the drag fields here area. Then do the same with our sales amount, but make sure the line is placed below the customer source. Okay, as you may have guessed, let's take the numbers and format them as currency. And that's that. All right, here's one of the cool things that's been happening behind the scenes. If you click on any of your chart elements, your data will adapt to show your selection. This interactivity really brings things to life. You can also hold down your control key to select multiple items. And if you want to reset everything, depending on what's selected, you may need to click once or click 2 consecutive times to deselect everything. Before we wrap up with charts and move on to something new, let's take a second to show you how to change your chart titles because the default titles may not work for you. To change your chart title, start by clicking on the chart you want to work with, then over in the visualization area, click on the formatting icon, then choose General, expand out the title. At this point, just type in your new text, and that's all you need to do. Moving right along, let's talk about slicers. Slicers are really just fancy filters. And filters let you play Go Fish on your data, which, if you ever played that card game when you were a kid, you'll get that analogy. By chance you never played Go Fish? In simple terms, a slicer lets you say, give me all your fill in the blanks. To add your slicer, make sure to click on a blank spot on the report first, then click the slicer icon over here in the visualization area. Next, how about we drag the customer source to the field area? At this point, you can start checking the boxes to see particular items. Or if you hold your control key down, you can select multiple items. To reset the slicer, just click this eraser icon. Okay, you've come a long way in building your dashboard. And the final step is after you're done saving everything, you can share your report with others. On the ribbon, click the publish icon. At this point, you can upload your report to the Power BI service, which in turn lets you publish your report to a website SharePoint, Teams, or even email. And that's how you use Power BI in just a few minutes. You just learned how to install Power BI, import data, create a bunch of visualizations, add slicers, and even publish your report. Thank you so much for watching. I'll never complain about a like, share, or sub. Feel free to leave your thoughts below. And since you're here, YouTube thinks this is a good video for you, so don't be shy.